All right, welcome back to another episode of Mitten Athletics Live, brought to you as always by Mitten Athletic Supplies. We are here for your one-stop shop for all of your track and field needs, gill equipment. If you have questions on anything, you need, be pointed in the right direction. If you know what you need, please contact us. We'd love to help you out. Easiest way to reach us is Mitten Athletics Supply at gmail.com. Reach out and please contact us. So a little different today. I'm solo as far as Colin is not here. So Aaron Ide, as always, you're one of your hosts, and Colin is not here with us today, but we do have a really cool guest. We have Ryan Jensen joining us from Davenport University. He's gonna kind of give us a rundown on his background. And, we're just going to have some conversations today and what he likes to see and a few other things. So, Ryan, you want to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Ryan Jensen. I've been coaching track and field for I think I'm in year 15 now of coaching track and field. I started out in high school, like I think almost everybody does. I kind of wanted to do something like more athletic, and I was like, well, I'll join the track team. I didn't want to run, so they're like, well, why don't you be a thrower? So I was like, okay, I'll try that out. I got what I thought was pretty good. I was like one of the better ones on the team. We had no coaching. I'd have a lineman coach come out and kind of like supervise. He had a VHS that kind of gave him like the fundamentals, and he would watch that and then kind of try to help us out. So it was very little coaching, but like just started to like find a little bit of a passion for it, and enough so that it carried me on into college, into university. So I don't think I would have actually gone to university if it wasn't for throwing. I was ready to like just go get a trade, go to start working, but I wanted to keep throwing. I was like, I think I'm kind of good at this. I was not good at it at all, but I thought I was kind of good at it. So I want to see like what my potential could be. So I went, I spent 2 years at Ferris State. I threw there, picked up hammer while I was throwing there, and then transferred to Kelvin University and did my last 3 years there, which I then became an All-American in the hammer throw. At Ferris, I did not have any coaching either. We had a sprints coach who was our coach. So that was like, again, like it was just like a supervisor. And I was young and ignorant at the time. I thought, well, this is like a D2 university. Like I'll get great coaching, right? Like just take that next step and that would be great. And that just wasn't the case. So I smartened up and I found a good coach at Kelvin, Norm Zylstra. He then became my coach there. And Norm was great for me, just instilling like a love for track and field. So like, before I was just like throwing. And he got me to understand there's a lot more to track and field than just throwing. And then he also kind of started planting the seeds of coaching for me. We'd have a summer club, and the NCAA doesn't allow their coaches to coach their athletes in the summer, especially Division III, which we were at Kelvin. So I would kind of coach for them, and I was like, hey, this is kind of fun. Like, I enjoy this. This is cool. So that's where that kind of the coaching bug got me. I realized that by the time I was done at Kelvin that I didn't want to be, I was going to be a high school teacher. I was going to be like a history teacher. So I got my degree in history, dropped the teaching part, and realized I want to be a coach. Like to me, that's what I wanted to do. So the next logical step for me was take my brand new wife and move all the way across the country into a different country. We moved to Canada. We moved to British Columbia, where I trained with Anatoly Bondarchuk for 6 years. So it's like I went from no coaching to like an okay coach. I love Norm, but he admitted we didn't know a lot back then. To like one of the best coaches in the entire world.
Right.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, I'm going to at least see how far I can throw this hammer. And then in the meantime, and learn as much about like how to properly train athletes as I can.
That I'll admit, there's a few pieces in there that I did not know. Like I thought I knew a lot about your past and stuff, but I did not know you went to Ferris State for 2 years.
Yeah.
Like that was new to me. So it's crazy. I looked at that college when I was deciding what I wanted to do. I also looked at Kelvin, but I looked at Ferris State, and yeah, so that kind of hits a little close to home. And then I did not know that you went to coach with Bondarchuk. Like that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
train with him.
Yeah. It was a amazing experience. Like I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about what high-end coaching looks like. I learned a
Yep.
lot about what shitty coaching looks like. Even sorry, podcast. I'm sorry.
Nope. You're good.
Like there was all sorts of this on the spectrum there. And I think what really ended up, I started coaching at the club there. And I started out coaching the throws, just like the head coach there is like, hey, I could really use some help. It's like, well, hey, I want to be a coach someday. I'd love to come and help.
Yep.
And it was interesting just being in the club system. So I would coach anywhere from like 8-year-olds to 70-year-olds. We had it all in the club, all the way through university.
How big was the club? I mean, ish.
I think we would have about 150 members.
That's incredible.
Yeah. It was really something else. Like you just don't have that here.
I was just gonna say, I think that shows the difference of the sports here where we have so many different sports, but you go up to Canada and like you have 100 plus people, we'll just say, joining a club to do track.
Yeah.
You have 70-year-olds doing track. Like you have a few, but you don't see that around here.
No.
Man,
it was one of the beautiful things about like going to Canada and like seeing how I think like how most of the rest of the world operates, like through that club system. And
yeah,
we had the World Masters Championship in Kamloops while I was there. So like on my coaching resume, I got a couple like world championships in like the 70, the 78 category, and like the javelin, and like so
that's
it's
awesome.
kind of just crazy. But then like all the schools would just kind of all fill into the club. So like you would have high school track and field, but most everybody trained at the club. And what was nice about that is then like you would have the resources, you'd have the training partners to like actually like have nice facilities. Like we have this giant club, and so the city would help like make sure we had good facilities, and like we would be well funded, and we could do it. So like imagine that, like you just had all the resources centralized instead of like every high school around here like everybody has to have pole vault mats.
Yeah,
everybody has to have discus cages. Like if you had all that centralized, like the quality I think is just a little bit higher that way.
It's really cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Did you go up there more to train or more to learn about coaching?
I went up there to train.
Okay.
I definitely learned more about coaching. Like that was definitely like the end result.
Yeah.
So while I was there, the head coach left, and they brought in another head coach who was a throws coach. So I switched to coaching pole vault. So I was the high jump pole vault coach, because we had a nice group of pole vaulters that were kind of left high and dry.
Yep.
New guy coming in was a throws coach, so I was out. And I was like, well, I'll figure it out. I'll learn.
Yeah.
And I did. And like we had a ton of success. Like I had national champions. I had a high school guy jump 5 meters, what is that? 16.
Yeah.
16-ish.
16, a little over.
Yeah.
16-1, 16-2, somewhere right in there.
Yeah. So like that, and I had a girl who's a sophomore. She jumped 330. And yeah, everything in Canada is metrics. I can't remember what the feet are, but I like 12.
You're used to that now, right? Other than the fact that no one throws 5 meters and you count it.
Yeah.
You hope.
Yeah. It's those smaller ones that I don't remember. It's
yeah.
The big ones I'm a little bit better with now.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think that was really, it was pivotal to me as a coach though, because I started learning like how to coach everything, not just like this little corner of track and field of throwing.
And coming from somebody who needs to get better at that, but like I think that's the best way you can be a great coach, is to know all of it and not just one thing.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of where I like, by the time I could efficiently coach pole vault and I can efficiently coach the hammer throw, everything else was pretty easy.
Well, you can coach those too. I mean, no offense to their events, but you have the two of the hardest events. I mean, I honestly think you look at discus and you look at pole vault; those are probably the two hardest events to coach. Hammer the same, but hammer is a little more repetition, which everything is, right? But hammer is a little more repetition. But I think disc and pole vault are probably the two hardest events to coach that have the most movement, the most things going on.
Yeah.
For me,
100,
I mean,
100%. Because like if you can coach the pole vault, you're going to figure out how to coach sprinting.
Yep.
You're going to figure out how to coach jumping. You're going to be really good at teaching like body awareness, right? Because you have to go upside down. You have to like be aware of where the bar is. And then if you're coaching the throws, like, yeah, you clearly know how to throw things. You know how to make people really strong. So you really have like all your biomotor abilities like kind of like laid out, and you know how to develop them.
Exactly.
So that's has served me really, really well. Because even when we moved back to the States and I got my first NCAA job, I was the long jump, triple jump coach. I was not the throws coach.
Where was that at?
That was back at Kelvin. So when we landed back in the US, I got my first NCAA job at Kelvin, because I kind of just started at my alma mater. I was like, where could I go? And they're, well, actually, we could really use a coach. Like,
was
awesome.
Norm still around at that point, or was he at EK at that point?
Yeah, he was coaching at East Kentwood at that point. So I started there, and then I started helping out with the throws. You know, Norm came back on a couple years after that. I was helping with them, but I was still primarily the jumps coach. I switched to pole vault because we lost another coach. And then I went to Grand Valley after Kelvin and to help Matt Conley out with the throws. And that's when I kind of like came full circle and was like just the throws guy again.
Yeah.
So I did that for a year. That was a really fun year. We won a national championship. We had some national champions on the throw squad. And then after that, the job at Davenport came up, which was awesome, full-time gig. So I came over to Davenport, and that's where I've been for the last 4 seasons.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you got the Davenport. Obviously, it's a little different now that you are the lead throws coach, right? You're the head throws coach. You're assistant coach, but head throws coach. Like, did it feel a lot different when you first got there, moving from being like an assistant with Conley to there?
Yeah, I mean,
were you already kind of used to it?
Yeah, I think the hard part actually was, you know, when I was at Kelvin and Norm and Katie were there, we were always coaching as a team.
Right.
And I went to Grand Valley and I was coaching with Matt.
Yep.
So we were like a team. And then I got to Davenport, and it was like it was just me.
It's you.
Yeah. It's like I really got and I really enjoyed like having like someone to bounce ideas off of and like just talking through stuff. And I think that was actually pretty hard transition, just to be like, yeah, I got to figure this all out on my own. And like it was fine, but it was like, yeah, if you ever get an opportunity to like coach with somebody especially you align with, like, it's really cool.
It's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, so like that, I think that was like my hardest part. I mean, the second part was the program was definitely in a transition. The guy before me, he did a great job. But he was not full-time. So like recruiting wasn't his thing. The guy that was recruiting kind of stopped. So we were bare bones. But luckily I had some good talent that I came into. Noah Evers was there. He was throwing, I think 1647 maybe.
Okay.
The year before I got there. And so we got him rolling. And that first year where I got him up to, man, I think he got 1770 that first year. Maybe we got to 18. I can't really remember off the top of my head. But then I got this next year, by the time we were done at Nationals, he threw 1930. That is awesome. So that was really fun to have, you know, some talent there and like really be able to help him move along and get really good. And we had Bryce Monroe was there as well. He was, man, I think he threw like 1530 when I got there. And by the time we were done, he was high 17s. So that was fun. So, you know, their last 2 years, like they were 2nd and 7th at Nationals. So that was kind of cool.
I mean, seriously, being there for 4 years, like how can you ask for anything like more than that? That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a good transition. We have a great setup at Davenport. We're well supported program. So it's been great recruiting. Like we got a full squad now. We got a great environment, and yeah, I'm really happy to be here actually.
Yeah.
It's good.
That's awesome. You speaking of recruiting, do you have any regrets in recruiting Nolan yet?
No,
No,
Nolan's
I'm just
awesome.
kidding.
He's a good kid. He's a lot of fun, a lot of energy. Sometimes he says stuff that I'm like, I don't know if you're serious, but I think we're joking.
Well, when you figure that out, let me know, because I spent 4 years trying to figure it out and I'm still not sure.
Yep. No,
Oh,
it's
no, that's
been good.
fun.
He's a lot of fun, brings a lot of great energy. So
He does.
we're definitely blessed to have him part
Oh,
of the
good.
program.
Your whole group, though. I mean, I see a bunch of videos and stuff online, and your whole group with him and Abby and Gerard, and like that whole group you brought in this year was a great group. I felt bad that Riley, well, his choice, right? But I felt bad that Riley kind of decided to go a different direction, because I thought he could have been a good college thrower too. So
Yeah, I was disappointed, but like
yeah.
life is hard, and sometimes
Yep.
he's got to figure it out, and everyone has their own path. And
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
but
And people realize that college sports aren't for them, right?
yeah,
Not what they thought they were going to be. And that's okay too. You have
yeah,
to figure it out.
and like I have a soft spot for the lost kid, right? Like
Mhm.
like I said, I wouldn't have gone to college if it wasn't for throwing. So when somebody comes to me and like maybe isn't like your ideal guy and like it comes from a different path, it's like, yeah, I kind of want to be a part of that, because that was me. So I like to take chances on kids sometimes, and most of the time I feel like it works out. Sometimes it doesn't, but I always rather give them the chance than
Yep.
to not have that chance.
I mean,
But no, the group is fantastic. Like we have a really good culture we're building here, and like to me, like that's so important. Like I'm sure you feel that way too. Like when you have those right kids, and like the whole program's better.
it's unbelievable the difference. You can have a couple of really good kids, but when the culture isn't there, you just don't feel it. But man, when you have a culture, you can maybe not have those top 2 or 3 kids, but when the culture's there, it's unbelievable. It's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like that's what I tell all my recruits coming in. It's like, at the end of the day, like throwing far is awesome, and that's what our goal is. But I want
Yeah.
kids that are going to help contribute to this culture, that are going to help bring us up, bring us towards our goals, and like that are going to work hard and want to be a positive influence and be a positive presence on the team.
Mhm.
To me,
And
that's just number one.
and that will build the rest of it. When kids buy into that, that will build the rest of the program. You will get the results you want and more when kids buy into that idea.
Yep.
That's the hard
100%.
part, is teaching them that. Like we understand that, but teaching a 18, 19, 20-year-old kid that, like, it's not easy.
Yeah.
They just
And I
want to see
think,
the results. They want to see this number right here go up and up and up. But it's like, if you build this baseline and you build the culture, it will happen.
yeah, and I think it's something that like I think all high school kids should reflect upon. It's easy for like, because I say it to all of them, for people like, yeah, that sounds good, but like does it though?
Yeah.
Like because culture is hard, and like
Mhm.
staying positive is hard. But to me, it's a life skill like anything else, and like this is a great opportunity to practice it. But you
Yeah.
have to be bought in.
You have to be bought in. You have to.
100%.
Because as soon as you're not, and it's like, it's easy, but you can be bought in here, but it's teaching them to be bought in everything they do. Because as soon as they're not, work gets harder, family gets harder. Everything you do, if you're not bought in, if you're not part of that culture, and culture can be whatever you make it, but if you're not part of that culture, it gets hard. Life gets hard.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and I think that's like one of the best parts about track and field, is that it's such an analogy for life. Like
Yes.
track and field is hard. Like you're out there all by yourself. Like there's
Yep.
nowhere to hide, right? And things are hard. Like they're always going to be hard, and they're going to be frustrating.
Yep.
And like you have to be good at like living in hard and frustrated on a regular basis. And that's
You have,
life. Like
you
there's
have to be comfortable being part of the uncomfortable. And if you're
Mhm.
not, yep, you're right. It's life. That's what you're going to deal with every day.
Yeah. And that's what I try to like instill that. Like, if you think this is hard, like imagine like you have a child, like you're gonna be a parent someday, and
Yep.
like things aren't gonna go well, and it's gonna get hard. And like,
Yep.
how are you gonna respond? Are you gonna like step up and like be the parent you want to be, or are you just gonna be like, this is hard, I quit?
I'm done.
Yeah.
Okay, well, see you later.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
that's not who you want to be. I know it's not. Like,
Mm-mm. But it's our job more than anything is not sports related. It's teaching a bunch of young kids or at your level, young adults to be what they want to be and what they need to be in the future. Like, yeah, the sports are the byproduct of that. But as a coach, that's what we always are, is we are here to help shape these young children, these young adults, athletes, people to be who they really should be in the future.
100%.
And all we can do is lead them there, but we're just trying to make sure that they have the best opportunity that they can to get where they should be and where they can be and where they really, honestly, that's their final destination, but we're just trying to help them get there.
Yeah, because I think like when you think about how track works, like you have a goal or an idea of
Yep.
who you want to be, and then you have to like work your way to that. Like it's a million decisions. Like, is this what I eat today? Is this when I'm going to go to bed? Am I going to do my stretching? Am I going to put everything into this lift? It's a million decisions that kind of leads to who you're going to be into the future, and that's just great practice for like
Yeah.
when you get out into the real world and like stuff actually matters. Like you're going to decide like, who do I want to be? Where am I trying to go? Am I trying to be this person at my job? Am I trying to be this type of parent? Am I trying to be this type of citizen or this guy at church? And like then you have to make a million micro decisions that is either going to lead you towards that goal or away from it. And it's a great opportunity to have someone to walk alongside you and help you make those decisions and like practice how your decisions like shape your life.
That is an awesome analogy, and that is exactly it. Like, you hit the nail on the head. Yes, that right there. That's amazing. We're gonna clip that later. Oh, well, okay. So tying into that, like, so you're looking for these athletes, you're looking for these college kid or these high school kids to come into college. Like, so what are you looking for out of these high school athletes that kind of you think that you can help lead them that direction? That like that's what you're looking for. What is out there that is that item, that piece of the pie? What is it for you?
Yeah. So for me, like we already kind of talked about culture. So that's my number one thing. Like when I meet with athletes and like I want to see how they interact with their teammates. So, like I'm watching them throw, but I'm watching how do they talk to mom and dad? How do they interact with their teammates? All of this other stuff. That to me, that's really, really important. Obviously, like I want them to have some athletic talent and some athletic ability. That's part of it too.
Right.
I still have a job that requires me to like have some
Yep.
success. So like that's important. But like I want athletes and this is just me personally, this is what I want. I want athletes that are eager to be a part of the process. It's like I want someone that's going to ask really good questions of me, that's going to have thoughtful responses when I ask questions.
Yep.
Like it's a conversation. So I tell athletes that come to me, it's like I am not looking for automatons, people that just tell me what to do. I don't want to think. I'll just do it. Like that's not how I operate well as a coach. So I want people that are like back and forth, are going to ask me really hard questions. Like, why are we doing this? How is this going to get better? Like, great. Let's have that conversation. Let's talk about it. I want my athletes to walk away with a PhD in throwing when they're done. Like I want them to have a cognitive understanding of what they're doing and why they're doing it, and then they can go out and be coaches themselves. Or then I just feel like then they're going to have their best version of themselves as a thrower if they have a higher level understanding. So yeah, culture, talent, whatever you want to call that, willingness to engage. Like those are like my number 1, 2, and 3 things that I want to see in an athlete.
I love that. That was actually going to be my next question after that, but you answered it. Is do you like the hard questions? Do you like the question when somebody comes and says, "Why are we doing this?" Because I've listened to a few podcasts, one of them by Mike Cunningham. He asked that a lot. Like the hard questions are questions that some coaches don't want to hear, but like I feel like the best coaches want to hear those questions. They want to hear their athletes asking why, because that means they truly want to understand. They truly want to grow, not only as just in the sport, but as a person. They're trying to understand why. Why am I doing this?
Yeah, because I think they also have a passion for this, but
Yep.
they part of that passion is a deeper understanding of the X's and O's and the Y's. And
Yeah.
and I tell my athletes all the time, like 90% of what we do, I know works, and I can
Mhm.
explain to you very, very well. 5% I think works, and like I
Mhm.
kind of understand it. And 5% I have no freaking clue.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Throwing a dart out there, hoping
yeah,
it
and like
sticks.
it might work, it might not. Why? I don't know. And like, but to me, that's part of that process of like we have this solid base of this is going to work, and then
Yep.
we have to figure out all this other stuff too, because each person's unique. Each situation's a little bit different, and like and then like I also just want to keep filling that 90% of stuff I know. I got to
Yep.
experiment and try these other things, and I'm just really honest about it. Like, most of the stuff we do, I have a really solid reason why we do it. And if I don't, I'll let you know. It's like I think this might work. I heard this like logically in my brain, this could go somewhere, but I really don't know. And like most of them, like cool, like they're excited about that. Oh, wait,
Yeah.
we're doing something a little different, and we're gonna try it.
And I think that's part of being a good coach is being willing to take those chances, right? Because I'll admit, I mean, there's a lot of times I've been coaching for almost 13 years too. Well, different level, high school the whole time, but like I've had a lot of times where I've had an athlete come back later. Travis is one of them, and probably the biggest one, where he's come back after college and be like, "Hey, why did we do this? Dude, I don't know. I was trying to figure this out. I was in my third year of coaching." Like, he's like, "Well, let's not do this." Okay, great. And I've learned a lot from that of just going, okay, what does and doesn't work? What and like you said, that honestly, the best way to put it, every athlete's different. Every athlete needs different coaching. You can say this is how you do X, but every athlete's going to get there in a different way.
Yeah,
And every athlete needs a different cue. Every athlete needs a different way to get there. Or I don't operate in that way. My body can't do that. Some people they don't. Like their hips are too tight. You can do whatever you want, but you can't get them to there. Okay, well, how do we get you to the best position of that or part of that? How do we get you as close as we can?
yeah,
And like that's hard to do, but like to be willing to say, yeah, maybe it doesn't work, or let's change something. Like that's what we have to be able to do as a coach.
yeah. Well, and like I think one of the fascinating things about throwing and then track and field in general is like you can have such different, you know, body types that
Yep.
come across. And so like for me to expect, you know, big burly guy to do the same thing as my very skinny like beanpole, female athlete, like they're different. They're so
Yep.
different, right? And then I get a multi that comes over and like they're like like
A
zero
whole nother
absolute
level.
strength. Right. Yeah. It's like how do you get them to throw far, right? So
Yep.
yeah, it's like you have to find unique solutions for the same problems. But like physics is always physics, right? Like you know what I mean? You have
Yeah.
these constraints that you're always going to be dealing with.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean that's a really good way to put it. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. Like you
Um
can't out coach Sir Isaac Newton.
you
You know what I mean?
can
Like,
try,
you
but it
can
will
try.
never work.
You're not going to win.
Nope. So with us high school coaches and kind of what we do and what you're seeing, like what would you like to see us do different? And every high school coach is different, every college coach is different. We understand it. But like as a whole, what would you like to see high school coaches do different than we currently do? Or what could we do better?
Yeah. So I think the hard part with that is like most high school coaches are like my high school coach, like
Yep.
volunteers, probably didn't come from the background. Track is just something like they're just trying to help out.
Are you personally
So
attacking me? No, I'm
no,
just kidding. I'm
oh,
just kidding. It's a joke.
you have a background. You should know better on
It's
most
a
of this stuff.
joke, okay?
But I think what I would like to see from the athletes that I come in is they're just not developed.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in a way like they're not like, not that they're not high performance throwers, but like they don't know how to jump. They don't know how to
Mhm.
run.
Okay.
They don't know how to do like basic athletic things.
Sure.
So if I were a high school coach, like I think my biggest priority, and I think what I would hope that I could like then draw a lot more athletes to me is like everybody that comes to me leaves drastically more athletic.
Yep.
Like they have better jumping mechanics. They're faster. They know how to sprint, and then they know how to throw things. The amount of that type of teaching that I have to do at the college level is almost unfortunate. Like we can't just like jump into throwing and like being specialized in throwing. It's like we have to go back and like how do we jump? Like we do like basic plyometrics for the first
Right.
4, 5, 6 weeks. I have to teach basic lifting. Like it's amazing to me like how many great like weightlifting facilities there are now in high schools. Like we had a dungeon when I was in
Mm-hmm.
high school, and it was all metal plates, and we were still like doing power cleans and everything with it. But you have these amazing facilities now, and it's like kids still come in and it's like that's not how you squat. Like
Yeah.
it's like so it's those types of things. Like if you could like spend some more time like working on those fundamental movement skills, like it opens up their future drastically.
And I think that um the two biggest things that high school coaches deal with in the fighting that is what you said before is a lot of coaches are volunteers and they have very limited time, and a lot of coaches are there only, let's just say 2 to 3 days a week, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you have a group of kids you're trying to teach a very specific event to, and you're trying to do that with also doing this, it's hard. And this is not a combat to that. It's like I think that's part of it, and part of it is too is like for me, my average, let's just say, like I'm there every day, and I'm there normally about an hour and a half of our practice, sometimes 2 hours, depending on if I stay late. But I have 36 kids, and it's me.
Yeah.
I think my average throwing group over the last 13 years is about 30 to 31 kids, and it's me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard because like how do you find enough time to be able to get time teaching plyo and time teaching sprints and also time teaching kids how to throw a shot, especially when you have kids who are use him as an example, Nolan, we're trying to get him to a state level, but at the same time, a kid who's never touched a shot, it just gets hard. But I agree with you that yes, unfortunately, some of those fundamental pieces get skipped, and it's not on purpose. It's just here's what we have. But
Yeah.
at the same time, that's good to know that if that's what we should be doing. If we can't get them to the fundamentals, how am I going to teach a kid to truly throw a shot well if he can't even jump? How
Yeah.
do I teach you how to use your legs at the finish of a shot if you can't jump on a box, if you can't jump over a line effectively, quickly? Like that's it. We have
Yeah.
a 7-foot circle. You need to work inside that. If you can't get explosive in that little circle, you're already in trouble.
Yep. And it's like, yeah, how do you teach sprinting before someone can walk, before
Yeah.
they can crawl,
Yep.
right? And it's hard. Like so like, hear me, like I'm not criticizing
Oh no,
anyone
no, no, no.
because
I
I
don't take
know
it that way at all.
it's hard. It is hard. Um
I
my
appreciate the
son
input
my
of what we
son
can do.
yeah, my son just did his freshman year of high school, and so I got a little glimpse of like what that high school track looks like. And I get it. Like you got such varying levels. Like when you get to my level, like there's a fair amount of weeding out that's happened, right?
Yep.
Like you're pretty effective at what you're doing at this point. There's not that bottom end. And I would imagine that like how do you tailor your coaching and your programming for a guy that can maybe throw 20 feet in the shot put and a
Mhm.
guy that's like trying to go 55, 60 feet. Like those are massively different ends of the spectrum. But I think that's what makes really good coaching is like finding unique solutions to like very complex and hard problems.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And I'll admit that I have tried to, because of my experience at the college level and knowing what that looks like and knowing what college coaches will put us through, right? And what they're looking for, and trying to teach plyometrics and med ball and foot speed. So we have tried to implement that, but it becomes very, for me, and I'm still working on it. And so, every year is hopefully a better year, right? We're trying to get a little better every year, but trying to implement those and knowing that we do groups, and there will be a group that does med balls and plyometrics and foot speed. But that's also the group that unfortunately I don't ever go spend time with. So like we transfer stations, you have shot, disc, and then your plyos and foot speeds and stuff. But like I'm never down there because I almost can't be. I only have so much time and I have to be able to see this, so I almost can't be down there. But at the same time, like we go through it as a group, but then I'm kind of reliant on whoever our captains are of that group or our leaders are of that group to make sure it's getting done. And it doesn't always get done, but I also can't always be down there. So it's like, well, you're hoping and you're kind of relying on high school athletes to be that captain. Sometimes it's hard because your captain of that group should be a freshman, and that's awesome. And that we have those, and it's hard because then the seniors, the juniors, they're not going to listen to him. But that freshman should be your captain.
Yeah.
Because the seniors are going to go down and be like, oh, we're fine. We'll be good. We'll just do a little bit. Like, well, that's not it. You need to do more. So I always try to set it up with our groups is I can give you the work. I can tell you what needs to be done. I can't do it for you. If you're not going to do it, you're only going to get as good as what you do. Right.
Yep.
So you have to be able to do the work and you have to push each other. And if you're not, you're going to be here.
Yep.
But if you can push, you have that opportunity.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I said, it's always us trying to figure out how to get better. And it's good to know like that is a big piece of it. So I need to be pushing that more.
But that kind of goes back to like what we were talking about earlier. Is like part of your journey with these kids is like it's the 100 micro decisions that leads to who you want to be, right? And like if you only want to half-ass it and you want to just like this is what it is, admit it to everybody. Say like I'm cool with being, a 30-foot high school shot putter. And then like you make those decisions to do it half-assed, then everybody understands and it makes sense.
Yep.
And that's cool.
And that's fine. And I love those kids as much as I love the kid who wants to be the 70-foot shot putter.
Yeah.
Like I will love both of you the same.
Don't tell me you want to be the 70-foot shot putter and then half-ass every single item you do.
That. If you tell me you want to do it and you go after it and don't get there, I'm all in. But if you tell me you want to be a 70-foot shot putter and do absolutely nothing to get there, dude, that's where I have an issue.
That's the problem.
Just tell me that you want to be a 30-footer and that's fine. I'll love you the same. Just don't lie to me. Don't lie to you. Don't lie to me.
Yourself. Yeah. Yeah. So complicated problems with no easy solutions, but I think it's like you said, like we were talking, like you just gotta find that 90% that that works and then mess around with the other and try to get it a little bit better every time.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Well, that's definitely something I think that a lot of high school coaches can take to heart right there.
But I like you said you have stations. Like I love that. Like to me, that makes a lot of sense. Do you do like a training manual?
So what we'll do is I will put together a list of here's what that station looks like. Here's what you need to do. Number of overhead throws for height, distance, back over the back, whatever it is. Like I set that up. And then when you're up throwing, I can't force kids to do stuff, but I'm like, you need to create a training journal. You need to have a journal, and we're going to take throws. And you need to tell me, okay, today we're taking 10 stands, we're taking 10 halves, and we're taking 20 fulls, whatever the day is. And we're going to write those down. You need to make sure you get through your numbers. And then tell me how you're doing that day. Tell me, did you have tests? Did you have this? Did you have that? That way you can go through those items. And then when you have a really good day, you can write on there, hey, today was a great day. And then 2 days later, it was a bad day. Okay, let's see what you did. What did you do 2 days before? How would you sleep? Okay, well, now we can tell what's going on and why you're actually doing it. And I've only had a few athletes who will truly buy into it, but then you can truly say, okay, well, you had a bad day today. Well, sleep, water, everything is 2 days after. So I can go back 2 days and I can tell you 2 days ago, you slept for 8 hours and you drank a bunch of water that day and you didn't have any tests. Well, yeah, you threw really good 2 days later. But this day you threw really bad. Well, 2 days ago you had 4 tests and you were up till 2 a.m. studying and you drank nothing. Well, yeah, it's pretty clear you were going to have a bad day. Like we knew it was coming.
Yep.
Right. But it's hard to teach those kids that. And most kids won't actually keep up with the journal. But the few I have had that will do it, all of a sudden they have that like aha moment of, oh, I can see it.
Yeah.
Well, I can lead you to water. I can show you what you should do, but I can't force you to do it.
Yep. 100%.
So,
yeah. So like, I think you're right on. And like, here's one thing I always do is like, oh, you write that in your training journal. And they're like, oh, okay. And then a couple of days, like, what was that we were working on? I said, write that in the training journal. Do you remember that? Because like that was a really good cue and it worked well for you, but I can't remember it. And they're like, and then
dude, and I've had kids like, what's that cue you told me? I'm like, there's 32 of you. I do my best, but I cannot remember every cue. And half the time I'm changing cues for a certain person. I cannot remember them. I will do what I can.
Yeah.
But I also have a full-time job. I have kids at home. I have a wife. I have this. It's only this much in my brain. I can try, but you have to write it down.
Meet me halfway here. Right?
Help me help you. And
And
it's crazy. I still have all my training journals from college. I can tell you what I lifted on a certain day. I can tell you what I lifted before our national meets, our state or our conference meets. I mean, I have it all.
Yeah,
I can tell you every PR. And it's like I try to help, and it's really simple. I'm not asking a lot. All you have to do is write a few things down a day.
Yeah,
but
it's like I have coaching journals. Like I write down what I coach, and I try to process. Like it's such a life skill. It's like it's just stuff like it will help you out. Like you struggle with anxiety, like writing those thoughts down and like revisiting them and like these aren't valid. Like these don't make any sense now that like you come back and visit them. No, this was a good day. I have a good day. Yeah.
Well, that was dumb. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, cool. Well, I shouldn't be anxious next time. Like, but that's what we have to do.
100%.
Yeah. So I guess it kind of leads into like, other than like journaling and keeping a training journal, like what is one of the most important lessons or the most important lesson you've learned throughout your time, whether it's coaching, whether it's being an athlete? Like, give us something that like, this is it. Like this is for me, this was a big aha moment.
Yeah. So I think that's tough because there's a lot, right? Yeah. Like I've been on a journey and there's been a lot of stuff, but I think,
or give me a couple.
Yeah. So, but I think going from like when I left Canada and I came back, I kind of thought I had it figured out.
Yep.
Like I was like, this is like the world-class system. This is how like the best in the world train. And then realizing that every situation is unique. Every person is unique. There's a reason why there seems to be 100 different ways to do it, because it doesn't work for everybody in every situation. So like my aha moment just being that like I have to like figure out what works for the person in front of me. And like it might not be what was in the past. It might not be what I have in my toolbox right now, but it's something I have to figure out. Every individual is a puzzle that comes with social dynamics, comes with like family issues, financial issues. Do they like coaches? Some people have had bad coaching, relationships. These are all things I have to like navigate and figure out. I have one athlete that's here that like I can just push them in the weight room and they just respond. I have an athlete over here, I push them in the weight room and they literally fall apart.
Yeah.
I have to train both of those athletes, and it's different. And I to me that's like realizing that like there's not a one size fits all, and that like the true art of coaching is like figuring out the person in front of you, figuring out that puzzle. And then like once you have that realization, once I had that realization, it's like I know nothing and I need to learn everything. Like because there's just so many layers to like how to get someone to throw far. Like the mechanics are easy. Like getting somebody strong is easy. But like getting someone that's got all of this baggage to like trust you, to like walk alongside with like where you're going, like that's hard. And then like they're injured and like the like realizing like, okay, now I have to modify all my training plans. Like what's my plan B? What's plan C? What's plan D? And like they all have to like still lead towards the same goal. Like people are complex, training's complex. And like
All right. So possibly vulnerable moment. How long did it take you to figure that out? Way longer than it should have?
yes.
Because if it's me, it was way longer than it should have.
Yeah. And like I don't like to be honest, Aaron, like I don't know if I'm all the way there yet. Like
I
it's a
okay.
journey. It's a
Okay.
journey,
So,
right?
so we're on the same page. Great.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm way better than I was 10 years
Mhm.
ago. I'm somewhat better than I was a year ago. And
Yep.
like I hope to be as I continue
Oh,
on. Like
I remember the first year I coached, and I coached for South Christian, and I had no idea what I was doing. And I was just, I know this. This is what I was taught, and we're gonna do this. And every person, like they couldn't do it. They couldn't respond. I'm like, nope, this is what we're doing. I didn't know what I was doing. And it took way too long for me to realize that every person is different and we have to teach them, coach them differently. And it like longer than I care to admit, but it took me way too long and I'm still trying to figure it out. Like I think I have it understood, and then all of a sudden I'll get somebody else like, well, I guess, yeah, you're right. That okay, let's figure this out. And it, like you said, it is every year. I just want to get a little bit better. I want to get a little bit better at this, but man, that yes.
I've actually come to the point now where I've just embraced it. And I feel
Mhm.
like if I ever get to the point again where I think I have it figured out, I probably should stop because I'm broken. Like
Yep.
I think what makes me a good coach is like being able to say, this isn't working. How else can I approach it? And not be like, I'm going to do the same thing. Like this worked before. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to keep doing it until it works again. Like I don't want to be that coach again.
Yep.
I want to be better. I want to be innovative. I want to like figure something out, learn something new. And I think
I
if I
was
ever stop doing that, I need to quit coaching.
I was fortunate enough when I first was coached, when I first started track, to be coached by, in my opinion, probably one of the best coaches to ever do that.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Angel was one of the best coaches who, for me, who would individually coach each person with different cues and different everything. And he understood that every person needed something different. And I lost that when I went to college. And I have tried every day since then to get better at that. Because he's the reason why I got into coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the reason why I try to coach the way I do today. And I think he was the prime example of being able to understand that every person needed something different. And he was so good at it. And I mean,
Oh
you've
yeah.
spent some time with him, and a lot of us around the area do. Like, if you got the opportunity to be coached by him, you understood that like he knew that every person needed something different. And it's really hard to understand.
Yeah.
But when we realize it, and like you said, when you can fully buy into that and you go, this is what we need. And if I can't do that anymore, like I shouldn't be coaching, like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Because that's what we have to have
Yep.
as coaches.
To me, that's what makes a coach and not a coach a trainer.
Yes,
You know what I mean? I think there's a big distinction
100%.
between a coach and a trainer.
There's 100%. A trainer is somebody's going to tell you this is what you have to do. And you're taking a group and you're all doing the same thing.
Yep.
And you're training them and you're doing the same thing. But when you're coaching, when you're truly coaching, it is an individual thing, even in a group.
Yep. And there's an art to it.
Yep.
Right. And I think there's like, it's good to have systems. It's good to have like good setups that allow you to operate freely within those systems.
Yep.
So that you can like explore like the true art of coaching. I think it keeps like, again, like I think Norm is a little bit more of just like the art of coaching. And I think what made us really good when I coached with Norm is that he would do the art and I could do the science, and like
Yep.
we could meld really, really well together. And I think I learned that lesson with him, is that like there's a great balance between like figuring out the art and the science and like the systematic way of coaching.
Yep.
Yeah.
He is Norm is, yeah. I mean, he is a good example of that. He is, yes. Him and Sam were, I don't say two peas in the pod, but they both understood that.
Yeah, they definitely had that. Like they resonated with each other very well there.
They were unique, and they both had people who liked them and didn't like them for reasons. But I think they both were very, very good coaches.
Yes,
So
I would agree with that, 100%.
Oh, all right. Well, as we're getting closer to the end, a couple of last questions I want to ask. One of them having to do with your conference, because you mentioned earlier you coached with Connolly before, and obviously still around, and he's had a slew of success and still has.
Mhm.
What is it like being in a conference with some heavy hitters, with some, you know what you're getting, right?
Mhm.
What is that? What is that like?
I love it personally.
It's awesome.
Like, you know, I'm a firm believer. My kids get tired of me saying this. They make fun of me because I love analogies, but all boats rise with the tide. Like, so
Mm-hmm.
Miles and Noah were both like really hot at the same time.
Yep.
I think they fed off of each other. I think they
Mhm.
both got better because they were both there. I love having, someone that like we're going after. So I think it's great. I think the GLIAC is probably one of the tougher throws conferences in the entire country. And I
Agreed.
wouldn't want to be anywhere else. I want to be able to have that great competition because I think that sharpens us. If you go to your conference meet and you're not too worried, like you're not preparing yourself. Like
Yep.
I love that our conference meet's going to be a test of who we are, just as much as nationals is going to be a test of who we are. Right? Like they're equally difficult. So yeah, it's great. I wouldn't change it. I'd actually like a little bit more at some of the other schools. Let's get up and get going
Yeah.
again. So yeah, no, it's good. I'm
I
all
love
about
that.
it. Like I feel like Grand Rapids is quickly becoming a pretty big throwing area in the country. With just even like with Alex Rose, Matt's success over at Grand Valley, what I'm building here, and then even like into the high school, I was like with what you're doing, like we're getting like a lot of great throwers at all levels, and I love that, and I love being a part of that.
I love that because I will be one who said for a long time, and not because of me when I was there, but like West Michigan has been historically better than most people will give them credit for. We're not Texas. We're not throwing outside year round. We don't have 10 200 footers. I get that. But we have historically been better in high school than most people give us credit for. And coming from a conference at the time in the Big Ten with throws when I was there was like outlandish. Like it still is, but like I mean, we're talking Joe Kovacs and his Eaton, who was there at Penn State with him, and like I down the list. Like the Big Ten when I was there was ridiculously crazy, and I think that it's not quite there, but you guys are on the cusp of the GLIAC is right there.
Yeah.
It is awesome, and I love that, and I
Well,
love that. So many schools in the GLIAC are in, like you said, that West Michigan / that generic area. Like, it's awesome. It's awesome to watch, and it's really cool coaching as a high school coach because these kids are like, "Well, where do I want to go to college?" And this, and I'm like, "Dude, you have so many opportunities
Yeah.
right around you, man. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't
Yeah.
have to try to find something." Back in the day, D1 or bus, this or that. I'm like, dude, you don't even understand. Some of the best throws programs ever have been D2.
Yep.
I mean, you go back into the early mid 2000s, early 2010s, like you tell me Ashland wasn't like the throws mecca for a long time, and not in the bad way,
Yeah.
but like that's D2. I mean,
Yep.
if you were going to be a thrower and you wanted to, if you weren't going to Ashland or a few other schools, what were you doing? Like that was it.
Right. And
So
I think it's kind of cool that you bring up Ashland, and I think like so many of those like Matt's a Judd Logan guy. Like I think he talks about
Finland,
that quite fondly. He spent a lot of
Finley.
time there. Jess at Hillsdale
Mhm.
came from that, and like it's just
Yep.
like all these D2 programs now are just like kind of building off of that legacy, and it's hot right now, and it's fun to be a part of. And like I said, I wouldn't change it for anything. I think this is where we need to be, and like the future is just more and more exciting.
I love it. I love that. I love the push for D2. I love that whole thing. And you're right. The GLIAC right now is unbelievably hot.
Yeah.
It's
And I think
awesome.
like if I give my little push for Division 2, it's like, you get at these D1 programs and they got all the flash and it's great and like high performance. And I love that too. But like, the coaching, like it turns over all the time. Like we're at D2, it's like, we have a lot more stability, right? Like, because like you commit to a big D1 program, like you don't know if your coach is going to be there next year, this year, and probably not in the next 4 years.
Yep.
Like whereas
Come,
like you can see
coming
that stability.
coming from somebody who got recruited by one coach and he was gone before I even got there, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
And it's not a negative, right? There's D1 programs are great too. D2 programs are great. D3. This is not a negative, but I have been a proponent for years of when kids ask me, I want to go D1. I'm like, you give me a list of your schools and why.
Yeah.
And like right now with Benji, I mean, he's a sophomore, he's gonna be a junior, he's a junior now, but my big thing, every kid who asks, where should I go to school? I'm not helping you. Give me your top 10 schools academically and athletically and put them in the list. And then give me the reasons why. And let's go from there because you're probably already going to answer your own question. But
Mm-hmm.
you give me the list and I will gladly help you with anything, but you have to tell me what you want. Because all of a sudden, when you say I want to go D1 and everyone on your list is a D2 or D3 school, but you don't want to go D1.
Yeah.
Like you like the idea of D1. Well, coming from somebody who went D1, and I should have gone D2, and I will say this. I mean, I've said it for a long time. I will not change my background. I would never trade it. I have so many friends and I've met so many great people. But at the same time, even back in the day in 07, 08, 09, I should have been gone D2 or D3 or NAI. I
Yeah.
didn't because I wanted to be D1, which is great. And I had fun and it was cool, but I never did what I probably could have or should have or potentially could have done had I not gone D1 because I wasn't D1 level at the national level, right? Like, yeah, I had fun. I did a lot of cool things. I enjoyed it. I went to cool meets, but at the same time, like, would I have been better served personally to not go there? Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And I think you bring up a great point. Like when you even if you can like get that D1 roster spot,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean you're ever going to make it to regionals. It
Nope.
certainly doesn't mean you're going to make it to conference or to nationals, right? Like that's actually most D1 athletes don't make it to nationals. So
Yeah,
you really miss out on a developmental opportunity, right?
that.
And I like how important it is to like be able to like make that national list, be able to compete at nationals, and then actually try to like score points.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's going to serve you way better if like because I can't even tell you how many kids come to me and like I have Olympic dreams, which is like great. That's awesome. Olympic dreams are fantastic. But if you can't even make nationals at your division, like how are you going to get there? Like there's no stepping stones.
Right.
I'm a firm believer like talent can come from anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like the number one talent that kids can have and it's impossible to identify is the ability to grow.
Yeah.
Like I'll take a crappy kid that's got like just way down here, but like every program I give them, it's like it's just here, and like you get a kid that's way up here and like can barely take that next step. Like
Yep.
that ability to grow is like the number one talent you can have.
For me, the ability to grow and confidence. You put those two together
Oh yeah, sky's the limit.
because they can grow, but if there's no confidence, or if they're super confident but they can't grow, but if you can put those two together, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, yep, I agree.
So,
And like I said, I'm not normally as vulnerable as saying like I should not have done what I did, and I won't take it away, and I wouldn't change what I did. But at the same time, going back now, and I tell all my kids, it should never be D1 or bust. If you ever have that mentality, you better be able to prove it, because there's no reason to ever do that, because there are I've said for a long time, there are as good or better coaches in D2 or D3 or NAIA than there are in D1.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter. There are so many amazing programs, so many amazing coaches at every level. Like, you can't get stuck on, I want to go here. Because when I went, like I said, I went to a D1 program. I went to Michigan State, and our coach left. We have a new coach came in. That being said, he was learning at the time, and now he's the assistant head coach at Kansas State, and he's doing great things. And I'm not knocking at all. But when I first had him as a coach, he just got done training for Hammer and had literally no idea what he was doing. And
Right.
that's okay. We were all figuring it out. But at the same time, would I have been better served going to a Norm at Calvin? Well, dude, he knew what was going on. So probably.
Like, when I think about, like, for my son, like, if I were going to send him out to a program, I don't care about a fancy program that has a coach that has no idea what he's doing. I'd rather him go look, like, how long has the coach been coaching?
Mm-hmm.
What are the results he's gotten? How does he interact with his athletes? Is it transactional or is it relational? Like, those to me are going to change your experience dramatically. Because, like, you might slide in on a roster spot in a D1 program, but you might not get coached. You might just kind of get, like, here's some time and space to train. Like, it's not always equal. Whereas, like, if you get a good relational coach, somebody like Norm, like, he'll give you as much attention as you want.
Mm-hmm.
And like, then you're going to develop, like, you're going to have a better experience. And, like, that's where I would push my own child as they go through this process. Like, I'd rather, like, find a coach that the athletes love, has great success, and has been around for a while, knows how to coach. Like, it's so important.
How do we get that in front of every high school athlete ever?
Yeah. Like,
You let me know. Let's do it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
I
but, like,
know. No, I
ask
just
good questions on your recruiting visits. Don't just stand there and go, okay, this is awesome. Like,
Oh,
ask them, how
cool.
long have you been coaching?
Look at the big sign in the back. Oh, that's really
Yeah.
cool. Can I wear the jersey?
Yeah.
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 Yep. All right. Well, I think I have one more big question I want to ask, and then we can kind of wrap it up.
All right.
And you've been out of this for a long while, but if you could change one big thing with the MHSAA, and I'm hoping you say what I think you should, but what would you change?
Just one thing. I
If
think I got a
if
laundry
you have
list.
more, give me the list. Give me the list. If
Well,
you could change the MHSA, what would you change?
So just to start at, like, 30,000 feet, like, when I go and recruit in Illinois,
Yep.
like, it looks professional.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's in metric. You have officials that know what they're doing. And it looks more like a college meet than it does a high school meet.
Huh. Like,
And
do
it's
they
just,
train the officials, or do
I think
they just
so.
pick them up
I
off
think
the street?
I think they train them. I think
Oh, it's
there's, like,
weird.
there's a little bit of level of, like, this is where
Oh,
we're gonna
okay.
be, and, like, they put the resources. Like, I don't know how they do it, but, like, there's a dramatic difference in just, like,
Okay.
this looks like how track looks like in the rest of the world. Like, in the MHSAA, it's like, like, when I went to some of these high school meets with my son, it's like the lady's watching the discus go, like, he just went out the circle 2 feet, and she's too busy looking at the discus to realize, like, that was a massive foul. It's like, what are we doing here?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Okay.
that
All
would
right.
be, like, number one. Like, from a,
Nail, Ed, got
yeah.
it.
Can we get like discus as a middle school event, please? Like, can we do that? Why can't we do that?
Yes.
I don't.
Yes.
I mean,
My man.
it'd be easy to say, can we have hammer? Can we do jav? Like, but I get that, but, like, everybody's got discs. Everybody's got a cage.
You said what I was hoping you were going to say.
But can we
Another
do
throwing event.
something for these events? Can we do, like, a state exhibition? Like, I get
So,
everyone can't do it. Can we do
so
something?
to help with that a little bit, I know that Mitka has been pushing hard for discus in middle school. So I think that is coming.
That would be awesome.
Now I don't know when or if it actually will. The other thing Colin and I talked about a couple weeks ago, and Colin, I wish he was on, and he unfortunately couldn't make it, but he is actually part of the Mitka committee now.
Oh, cool.
There is push to add events. It won't be throwing right away, but they're talking about triple jump. I'm pushing for another throwing event. I know that the one that I am pushing for probably won't come because only Rhode Island does it. So I know it's not going to show up because it's really expensive because everybody had to buy hammer cages, but I would love to see hammer. It's probably going to be javelin before it's hammer, which is fine. And it's not a negative. The only negative is that I think that hammer is, personal opinion, hammer is safer on kids' bodies than javelin is. And I think hammer is safer to be able to teach these kids with people who don't know what they're doing. And there's already too many throws coaches, as you stated in the past, that don't know what they're doing. You're going to throw complicated events at them. Hammer is easier to protect kids than javelin. Other than the fact that hammer is a 12-pound ball on a wire that somebody has to pay attention to like discus. I get it. I understand you need different cages, and we take the chance of being able to run hammer at our invite to qualify for nationals, but also because we have a lot of kids who love it. Take it for what it is. We have, I really enjoy coaching it, and I really enjoy that our kids love it, and we're going to keep doing it. But I would love to see it as an event.
Here's the thing. Kids are doing it. They're doing it anyways.
Right.
Because they know it's a college event. They know it's going to help them get recruited. There's a high school nationals for it. So like, why not do something to help facilitate that? And like, I get, like, my number one concern with the hammer throw is the safety. Like, I concerned at my level, I'd be very concerned at the high school level, and you'd have to mitigate that and you'd have to figure it out.
Yeah.
But they're doing it anyways.
Like, we're doing it in cages that shouldn't be done, and this is not a positive. I'm not saying this is a positive thing. I'm just saying we are doing it with proper safety precautions of keeping people out of the way and doing this and doing that, like of protecting people, but allowing kids to do it.
And Aaron, like, to me, the facility isn't the number one safety issue. It's having people like yourself who like understand it's dangerous. Let's make sure we're all standing here. Nobody in the field has a cell phone that they're playing on. It's stuff like that that's going to go way more. It's going to get way more mileage out of that than like if you had 3 meter taller cage.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, you're right. You're right. And on top of it all, I dislike, like you said, with adding throwing events, I dislike that the MHSAA, for me, has outlawed javelin. It's truly written as you cannot do javelin. There's no rule against doing hammer. They just don't have it as an event. But javelin is outlawed.
Yeah, specifically, you can't do it.
Specifically called out where I cannot even coach. Or we had an athlete this year who should have been a national qualifying and potentially placing heptathlon, who I could not even coach in javelin, so she didn't make it by like 20 points without an entire event. And that's what frustrated me is I bought one to give to her to train, but I'm like, I can't coach you. I'm not doing this. This is you and your dad, but like, you need to find an event. But anyway, I don't like that they outlaw it.
And like, there's just no need, because like in Washington, they throw javelin, they put a big rubber ball on the tip.
Sure. Throw turbo jab. I don't care.
Turbo jab.
Freaking make it a turbo jab event.
They make these fin flyers, which are these plastic javelins. Yeah. They're fantastic. Throw those. Like, it would be amazing. You would be hard pressed to get really hurt.
Turbo jab. Sweet. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. So, and then my last one for the MHSAA is like, you have this gigantic group of people that are doing indoor track, and you won't sanction indoor track.
It's coming again.
Okay. It's like,
It is
come on.
coming.
Like, just let the kids, like, you want to do it. Just let them
We've
do it.
we've again had a lot of back and forth on this, because the other thing with that is that as a high school coach for a school, out of season, I'm allowed to coach 4 people in specific events per gender. So you're saying that if I have 6 boys who want to throw, I can only coach 4 of them at a time? And I understand what it's built for. It's built to stop, back in the day, it was built to stop football coaches from creating mandatory out of season practices. But that's why we started clubs, and that's why we found ways around it. And everyone's doing it, right? So let's just make it an event. Let's just make it a season. You're doing men's volleyball now. You're doing this. You're doing that. Just make it a season.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah. So
It would be easier for everybody.
it
So
would be easier for
I appreciate that everything that you have said is items that are on my list, and I love that.
So let me ask you a question. As a
Okay.
high school coach, what would you like to see from college coaches? Like,
Ooh.
as you help these kids through recruiting processes and like your interactions with college coaches, like what would you like to see them do a better job of?
Ooh, I like that, and I appreciate this. Okay, this one is not you related, and at least not you with me related, because we have a relationship. But I would love to see more open communication back and forth with the high school coach. And I say that where normally when I will send something, I will get nothing back, or a very generic, like, thank you for reaching out. Here's what's going on. Like, okay, I understand that you probably get this from a lot of people, and I understand that you are probably getting the same email from 40 high school coaches sending their stuff over. But I would hope that as a high school coach, you're reaching out to colleges that make sense for the athlete, and that we truly have the best mindset for both the athlete and the school. I'm not going to contact you with somebody who is probably not college ready, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I'm contacting you and I have somebody who's college ready, I don't want the responses like, oh, thanks for reaching out. I will put them, generic response. Like, I'm trying to bring them, have an open conversation and bring awareness to an athlete. But I also have knowledge that, again, you're getting so many of these, and I know what that looks like from not coaching, but from work. I know what it looks like when you get all these inquiries. I understand that. But like, I think for me, that would be the biggest thing, is being able to have at least hey, we appreciate you reaching out. Maybe they're not ready yet, or we'll look into them, or whatever it is, but at least something that feels like you care enough that I can go back to the athlete and say, hey, I reached out and I got to get a response.
Yeah.
It's hard when like they say, oh, I reached out. Can you help reach out? Sure, I'd love to. And that's why I always tell my kids, I won't reach out first. You have to. But if you want me to reach out after you do, I would gladly do it. You need to ask me. But when I get the response of a generic response, oh, yeah, we're on a list and this and that and everything else, like, well, then it just feels like, I don't know, it just feels like, why do I want to go back? Why do I want to reach out to Ryan again? If this is what I'm getting every time I reach out, like, well, I'm going to go to somebody else and reach out.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that's the biggest thing, is just at least being willing to have the conversation. Just open up with an email that makes sense to have the conversation, and not just a generic like, oh, they're on a list and this and that, and maybe they'll be there. Okay, why? Give me something. Let me go back to them. Let me help them grow, and I can only teach them what I know, right? And so like that's so for me, the feedback of how can I help them and what is there, and having open communication. Because part of what I do as a high school coach is creating these relationships, which again, ours is different. I've known you since I was in high school, but like creating these relationships, and how can I help these kids in the future? And it's not just helping the kids, but how can I help you recruit the next kid that I have that maybe would be a great fit. How can I help you recruit the next Nolan or the next whoever? Or how can I help somebody go somewhere? Like, that's what I'm here for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to help both the college coach get, I'm pushing my kids, right? But also help my kids who can get there or should be there. And I
Yeah.
also know, and you should be able to understand as a high school coach, that not all kids are college ready or every college ready. Some colleges just need bodies. Okay, cool. You can
Yep.
find somewhere to go.
Yep.
Everybody can find somewhere to go if you really want to. But how can I help teach these kids that they're not college ready? But why aren't they? And what can I do to help that?
Yep.
And I'm not going to know if there isn't an open communication.
Yeah.
But I
100%.
like that. That's a great question.
Well, I think it's important, and from my perspective, like going back to like our earlier conversation, is like there's not a lot of yous out there. I can't tell you how many times I've reached out to high school coaches and I've gotten nothing back. Like, tell me about this kid, and there's just, I don't know.
I don't
So,
like that either. But that's an us problem, right? So I
well,
need to figure out how to fix that. But like that's an us problem. But
yeah, I think that's where it gets just tricky because you just have different levels of engagement, different
yeah.
levels of coaching, and
Like you said
that's
earlier,
not.
some people are volunteers that they show up 2 days a week at best, and it's what they are.
Yep. Yep. So no, that's good though. I like to hear that, and I think we all can do a better job with communication as collegiate coaches. I think, yeah, I don't know why we suck at it, but we really do.
Well, and I kind of said, I think it's not just you suck at it. It's you have time. There's this much time, and you have this much time doing everything else. There's only this much left. Like, how do you fit everything else in that?
Yeah.
And you still have families, and you still have stuff to do at home, and you still have everything else. It's not like being a collegiate coach is, well, 24/7 you're a coach. It's no different than any other job. And
Yep.
it's hard for a lot of us to understand that. Like, just because I'm sending you an email doesn't mean you should answer it. Well, I have time at 8 o'clock at night and I sent this email. Like, why aren't you answering it? Well, because your time at work is not 8 o'clock at night.
Yep.
But it's hard to understand that all the time for everybody. So
Yeah,
why? Because there's only so
especially
much time in the day.
as track coaches, we're so used to like putting in all this extra hours. You know what I mean? So it's easy to like make that expectation for all levels, and we like to consider ourselves professionals, and like it's an 8 to 5, or it's not, but it's easy to like it can be just all consuming. It just really can be.
And I appreciate you with having kids of not having that. Honestly, I would much rather have you not respond to me till 7 or 7:30 in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is, because you're not at work. Cool.
Yeah.
That means you're at home with your family the way it should be.
And I'll tell you, like, that's been like one of the hardest things for me in the past 4 years is like I'm going to these kids that I get paid to, and I appreciate it. I go to their sporting events, and then I miss my own child's sporting event. Like that sucks.
And
like
I'm trying to figure that out right now with
I have some
our
pretty
oldest.
gracious people around me. Like, Coach, why are you sitting there with an iPad watching a hockey game during this track meet? And it's just like number 68 right there. Like, that's what I'm here for right now. Like,
Yep.
It's tough, but like that's my priority. And
Because the question should be the other way around of why aren't you sitting at a hockey meet watching the track meet on an iPad? Because that's my kid.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's a big thing I have to try to figure out over the next few years as my oldest is now getting into that, is how / can I keep coaching a spring sport while she's in another spring sport that isn't this, or is this at a different school?
Yep.
So yep.
And like
I don't envy you.
I can sit here and say like, well, mine's easier to justify because it's a full-time job, but it's not.
It's not. It
sucks.
Nope, it's not. Though that is your child. That is your child who only has X number of games at this event, doing this at this age, whatever. It's your job, right? but it's the same thing. Like I have a 9 to 5 or a 7 to 5 job. I have a 7 to 5 job, right? But I have a 7 to 5 job, and like when that comes up, I have to make the same decision. But it's your job can be like, well, it's not that. All of a sudden I'm gone on a Saturday because I'm at an invite, but now there's hockey going. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't envy you. I do, because there's a lot of part of me that would love to be coaching full time, but there's also a lot of part of me that says, or big part of me that says no, because I know what the other side of it looks like, especially with kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't envy it. I do, and I don't.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
It's an amazing job, but it does come at a cost. And I would encourage you to like fight that good fight and like figure out how to do both, because like we don't have a lot of coaches like you, and I hope you can find a way to stay in it and still prioritize being able to go to those games and those matches for your own kid.
Yeah.
And I think it can be done. I think we are the hardest critics. Like it's just that guilt of like, they need me there. Well, do they really?
Do they? We already built everything. They know what they need to do.
If I'm doing my job well, like they know how to throw. Like, all the work has been done. Like they should be able to still throw without me there.
Yep.
So,
well, I appreciate that, and the plan is I still will be, right. So I'm still going to be trying and doing my best, and yeah, that's the plan. So, cool. All right. Well, unless you have anything else, I think that wraps up my questions.
Yeah, I think we covered a pretty wide variety of topics tonight, so that was fun though. I enjoyed this.
I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you, willing to come on and kind of talk about it and be very vulnerable, because it's not easy. So thank you very much for spending time with us and joining us. And yeah.
Love to do it again. If you want to take a deeper dive into some other fun topic, we
would love that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure.
So cool. Well, thank you very much. And I hope you have a great rest of your night.
Yeah, you as well.
Thank you.
Yep. See you.